O'Reilly's a massive entertainer, man. I got a little bit of funny kind of respect for him. I mean, play this clip. How's this not funny? How's this not great entertainment?
So we got to talk to those people. And then we have to redeploy. Yes, that's necessary in Iraq. We'll redeploy our troops. Got to get them out of Anbar and those places. Let them kill each other. Do I care if the Sunnis and Shias kill each other in Iraq? No. I don't care. Let's get our people out of there. Let them kill each other. Maybe they'll all kill each other. And then we can have a decent country in Iraq.
You're absolutely right, because Rush Limbaugh and him both sort of have a similar style where they just say the most abhorrent things and they throw out fiction all the time, masked as fact. But Bill O'Reilly does it in a much more entertaining way, and I don't know if it's the inflections in his voice or the off-the-cuff way that he says things like this. Like, do I care if they kill each other in Iraq? Nah.
Look, here's the one. Bill O'Reilly has something that is an undervalued trait in America. Bill O'Reilly is a great broadcaster, and there's no question about that. He's terrific about it. Is he a great broadcaster? Yes. But you have cut him slack. I know you hate him, but you cut him slack too much. He's worse than Neil Cavuto because he created this whole news. No, I mean I don't know. I'm with you. I'll stand toe to toe with you on how loathsome Neil Cavuto is. Mm-hmm. But Bill O'Reilly has created the image that he's independent.
Yeah.
It is unfathomably dangerous what he's done. He is so dishonest. And then I just want both of you and JR and Dave and the other guy, Jesus, I'm just kidding, Jesus, to keep me in check. Everybody does it as a rhetorical device. O'Reilly and Limbaugh and all these conservatives use it to death. Cenk does it more than I.
Rumsfeld does it too.
Rumsfeld does it more than anybody in the world.
Oh, asking yourself questions.
Stop answering your own questions as a point of making a point. You know.
Do I do that too often? Yes.
I mean, God, it's just. Do I care? No.
It's such a pompous way of communicating.
God, women around the world unite and do not perform sexual favors for these men.
That'll show them.
That'll
do it. That'll do the trick. That always works.
Yeah. No, am I going to service you tonight? No.
Am I going to be smoking rope tonight?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Jesus, I didn't even know that term.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, that's what Tony Snow said. Don't you remember?
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Can you break out the loofah? No.
Can you spear falafel all over me? No.
Yeah.
All right. See, here's the thing. If in a normal world, in a just world, where Bill O'Reilly is seen as an entertainer and not taken seriously by anyone.
Every time you say Bill O'Reilly and entertainer in the same sentence, I imagine him with one of those sticks coming out on stage doing the chorus line for some reason.
Like na 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 na.
Yeah.
Okay. But he is. That's the kind of. I mean, I would characterize him as Bozo the Clown, except I'm also Bozo the Clown. You know, we're entertainers and we take a point of view and stuff. But
did you just say we are entertainers? Did you lump us into the collective there?
Yeah. Why? Did I do something wrong? Are we serious people? Have I made?
No, I don't know.
I just never imagined when people say, "What do you do?" Like, I'm an entertainer.
Well, if we're not entertaining people, I don't know what good we're doing, so I hope we are.
It just sounds
Nobody
funny.
describes themselves as an entertainer.
I'm an entertainer.
No, in Turkey, actually, I describe myself as a showman.
Oh, really?
Hi, I'm a showman.
I do like the idea of Bill O'Reilly coming out with a top hat. And the
la 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 la.
Little Texas.
I let the Rockies all kill each other.
Do I care about the Shias and the Sunnis? No. Okay, anyway, so, but the problem isn't O'Reilly's shtick, which is, hey, I'm a talk show host, and I say horrible things, and they are not based on reality, and I'm just entertaining the good people at home who like mass murder and don't mind genocide, unless, of course, it's the bad guy we've picked. Saddam Hussein, when he kills Shias, we care so much we want to invade the country and take his oil, but when other Sunnis and Shiites do it to each other, I'm going to pretend not to care. You know, I got it. But so the problem, I don't think, is with Bill O'Reilly, Ben. Because I understand him, and I think in America he has a role and he has a place. The problem is with the idiots who take him seriously.
Well, see, this is the. I mean, if we lived in a world, the world that Democrats and sane people thought we lived in until about even later than 1995, 2000 almost, it would be okay. But your logic about Bill O'Reilly, and I know you're the last person to actually advocate this. I mean, you think that we ought to watch these guys like hawks, we do it on the show, and expose every time they say something like this. But for 20 years with Rush Limbaugh, the Democratic reaction was, Nobody takes him seriously.
Well, I understand, and if you want to point out that he's a clown, go ahead and do it. Definitely,
Right.
Unquestionably. But what I'm really getting at is I'm pissed at the mainstream media
Sure,
for being so stupid and shallow as to think that this guy is a legitimate voice in the discussions of America. Here's a guy who says he doesn't mind. I mean, we're entertainers, but we keep it within the bounds of goddamn reason. Imagine.
It's funny because there are, of course, people who would hear you say "goddamn reason" and think you've just left the bounds of reason.
Oh, yeah, I know, because a word I say is much worse than what O'Reilly says, which is, I don't mind if there are hundreds of thousands of people butchered and killed. See, that to them is not offensive. The code word of goddamn, ring, 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 oh my God, you insulted something I heard in church, I hate you. Okay, that's outside the bounds of reason. No, so, it's those shallow people in the mainstream media who listen to O'Reilly and go, oh, wow, that's a good point. Maybe we should let the Shias and the Sunnis kill each other. Yeah, come on. Don't take the guy seriously.